welcome to Pulse of Canada Sports Review section. On today, we look at the NHL playoff bracket, with all but one round 2 matchups already decided. The Kings slip up against the Oilers, the Maple Leafs advance against the Senators. It's a tied series between the Avalanche and the Stars, and it's all to play for in the Blues and Jets series. For the 4th time in as many years, the Kings season came to an end with a first-round playoff loss to the Edmonton Oilers. The coup de grace came Thursday in a 6-4 Oilers win at a raucous Rogers Place, which has become a house of horrors for the Kings. Edmonton got goals from Adam Henrique, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Darnell Nurse, Trent Frederic, and Connor Brown. For the Kings, Quinton Byfield, Brandt Clarke, Jordan Spence, and Anze Kopitar scored. The Kings haven't beaten the Oilers in the postseason since 1989, but this year's loss may be the most painful of the 9 playoff series they've dropped to Edmonton. The Kings tied franchise best for wins, 48, and points, 105, this season and won a team record 31 times at home during the regular season, finishing ahead of the Oilers in the Pacific Division standings for the first time in 7 years. They seemed primed for a long run in the postseason, but once again, they couldn't get by Edmonton. The Kings went out like warriors, though, carried out on their shields after a wild end-to-end final game that saw the teams combine for at least 10 goals for the 3rd time in the series. There were 51 scores overall, an average of 8.5 a game. With their backs against the wall, the Kings set the frenetic pace early, with Byfield scoring 79 seconds into the game, 1 of 4 goals in a manic and exhausting first 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Adam, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. Only one potential Stanley Cup elimination game in the last 60 years has seen the first 4 goals score more quickly. Byfield's goal, his 3rd of the series, came on a breakaway that saw him beat Leon Draisaitl up the slot, deke Edmonton goalie Calvin Pickard to his left, then slip the puck behind him and into the net. It was the 2nd fastest goal to begin an elimination game in franchise history, trailing only Wayne Gretzky's score in the first minute of Game 7 versus Edmonton in 1989. That should have been a good omen, since that was the last time the Kings beat the Oilers in a deciding game of a playoff series. The Oilers made sure it didn't happen again on Thursday.
Edmonton evened things on Henrique's deflection in traffic less than 2 minutes later, but Clarke needed just 33 seconds to put the Kings back in front on a snapshot from inside the right circle. That lead was short-lived too, with Nugent-Hopkins equaling things for the Oilers on a wrist-do from the edge of the left circle less than 6 minutes into the period. Hyman then put the Oilers in front for the first time on a play that began innocently enough, with Nugent-Hopkins sending the puck off the boards on a face-off deep in the Kings' end. The Carom found Darnell Nurse at the point, and he sent a one-timer on goal that Kings goalie Darcy Kuemper had a bead on before Hyman got his stick up, redirecting the puck into the back of the net. That gave Edmonton a 3-2 lead, with more than 7 minutes still left in the first period. Nurse, given plenty of space in the high slot, doubled the advantage on a wrist shot that got just under the crossbar late in the second period. Frederic made it 5-2 just 96 seconds later on a tip-in from the crease at the end of an Oilers breakaway. But still the Kings would not quit, with Spence scoring 2 minutes before the second intermission to keep the score close. The Kings pulled Kuemper for an extra attacker with 4:18 left and were rewarded when Kopitar scored with 53.3 seconds to play, but the Kings would get no closer thanks to Brown's empty net goal, Edmonton's 4th of the series, in the final 2 seconds. That left the Kings to begin focusing on next season while the Oilers move on to play Las Vegas in the second round of the playoffs. Neither the Kings nor the Oilers made things easy for Kuemper, a finalist for the Vezina Trophy. He faced 121 shots in the final 3 games and 207 in the series.
In the Maple Leafs versus Senators game, the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup for Thursday's Game 6 had star William Nylander listed as a scratch and brother Alex Nylander listed in a lineup. According to Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman, if the game had started before the fix had been made, William Nylander could have been pulled from a lineup. It would have been another example of the bad luck that has happened to the Maple Leafs since they last won the Stanley Cup in 1967. But in a sign that the Maple Leafs' luck might be changing, the mistake was caught. The right Nylander dressed, and he carried Toronto to a clinching 4-2 win. William Nylander had a power play assist and a goal to give Toronto a 2-0 lead. Ottawa eventually tied the game when David Perron's bad angle shot banked in off the back of goalie Anthony Stolarz' mask. But Max Pacioretty broke the tie, and Nylander put the game away with an empty net goal. It was the Maple Leafs' second playoff series win since 2004. They'll face the Florida Panthers in the second round.
In Denver, Valeri Nichushkin scored 2 goals, and the Colorado Avalanche avoided elimination with a 7-4 win against the Dallas Stars in Game 6 of the Western Conference first round at Ball Arena on Thursday. The best-of-7 series is tied. Game 7 is in Dallas on Saturday. Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon each had a goal and 2 assists, and Martin Necas had a goal and an assist for the Avalanche, who are the number 3 seed from the Central Division. Gabriel Landeskog and Brock Nelson each had 2 assists, and Mackenzie Blackwood made 22 saves. Roope Hintz had 2 goals and 2 assists, and Mikko Rantanen had a goal and 3 assists for the Stars, who are the number 2 seed from the Central. Jake Oettinger made 41 saves. Nichushkin tied it 4-4 at 6:02 of the third period, when he corralled the rebound of Landeskog's initial shot with his leg and clubbed it past Oettinger. MacKinnon was credited with a goal to make it 5-4 when Sam Steele's net-clearing attempt hit teammate Colin Blackwell and Karamed into his own net at 9:04. MacKinnon, who had a backhand shot at the net, was the last Avalanche player to touch the puck. Josh Manson scored an empty net goal off a face-off at his own blue line at 18:44, and Makar scored another off a face-off at his own right circle for the 7-4 final. Nichushkin scored to make it 1-0 Colorado, when his wrist shot from the right circle deflected off the skate of defenseman Ilya Lyubushkin at 6:29 of the first period. Artturi Lehkonen scored to make it 2-0 at 18:40 of the first after he redirected Makar's whiff shot from inside the blue line behind Oettinger. Hintz scored a power play goal to make it 2-1 at 1:18 of the second period. Rantanen fed him a backhand pass in the slot, and Hintz put it into Blackwood's 5-hole. Michael Granlund tied it 2-2 with a wrist shot over the glove of Blackwood at 3:41 of the second. Hintz fed him with a blue line-to-blue line pass for the breakaway. Necas regained the lead for Colorado at 3-2 when he tapped in Makar's crossing pass at the right post over the leg at 4:34 of the second. Hintz tied it 3-3 at 7:51 of the period when his snap shot from the right circle went far side over the blocker while on the rush. Rantanen gave Dallas a 4-3 lead with a quick wrist shot from between the hashes that went 5-hole at 18:35. Rantanen, who was traded from the Avalanche to the Carolina Hurricanes on January 24th, then acquired by the Stars on March 7th, has 7 points, 2 goals, 5 assists in his past 2 games. Rantanen and Hintz became the first pair of teammates in NHL history to each record 4 points in a playoff period.
On Wednesday night, 2 series came to a close with the Washington Capitals sending home the Montreal Canadiens and the defending champion Florida Panthers eliminating the Tampa Bay Lightning. Alex Ovechkin notched a tally and Logan Thompson provided the highlights between the pipes by making 28 saves as the Capitals beat the Canadiens 4-1 in Game 5 and will face the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round. Washington has its first series win since winning the Stanley Cup in 2018. And for the first time in a decade, the Capitals clinched a postseason series before their home fans. The Florida Panthers got goals from 6 different players, and Sergei Bobrovsky made 26 saves in a 6-3 victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning. The defending champs will take on either the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Ottawa Senators in the second round. In Winnipeg, the Jets got back to their winning ways as Kyle Connor scored a goal and had 2 assists in overcoming a key loss of a key player to beat the St. Louis Blues 5-3 and take a 3-2 series lead. Mark Sheffield, the team's star center, was mashed into the boards by Braden Shen in the first period and did not return. The status for Friday's Game 6 is unknown at this time.